Reading from the Science of Mind magazine, the daily guides. And I will be back with you in 1 second. One second, I just need to attend to something really quickly here. If you'll excuse me. Oh, I apologize for that. Something just came in, interrupted. I had to make a quick response to it. So there we go. Today's reading is for Saturday, the 22nd of March, 2025. I'm just going to read it because, well, just because, okay? It's called How Did This Happen? And the first quote is from Seminar Lectures by Ernest Holmes on page 65. It says, Nature turns to us as we turn to it, but we have to turn clean. Things will kind of become clearer as we go along, or should I say cleaner. The second quote is from the Science of Mind textbook on page 218. It says, we must relight the torch of our imagination by, quote, fire taught from heaven, unquote. I'm just going to read it and then you'll figure out what the quotes are about then. Isn't it interesting how we can be rolling along, nice as you please, and then suddenly things come to a screeching halt? What? How did this happen? Something like this causes us to wonder, did I do something wrong and just not notice? Was I not conscious of something that was about to take form? Yes, it's possible that we were not minding our minds, that we were letting our thoughts roam wild and just not paying attention. It's also smart to remember that we cannot personally control everything and everyone. The only thing we have under our hands at times is our own self-control and our own response to circumstances outside of us. And when response is the order of the day, it needs to be as clear and as thoughtful as possible. Such a response is what makes some people powerful healing lights in the midst of tragedy. There's no need for self-recrimination, especially when we have breakdowns. Actually, beating ourselves up only compounds the problem and does not make us more deeply spiritual. Quietly, peacefully, and with renewed self-love, we may come back to core values, practices, and renewed starts. Thus, we can corral the unruly mind with the right, conscious thinking again. Minding our minds is always at hand, since the world of affairs so often pulls us off center. Okay, so, excuse me, I'm interrupting quite a bit here, aren't I? But when your nose runs, and that's how you take care of it. There's some theories, especially related to New Thought, that basically say we should be able to control every single circumstance in life and everything that's going to happen to us. We should be able to prevent all the bad stuff from happening and just rely on the do. If our minds are pure and clean and good and whole, then nothing bad will ever happen to us. Well, that's all nice and well, but it isn't as simple as that. It just isn't. It's complicated. Our minds are interlinked with all human minds, with the divine mind, goodness knows, maybe with every mind in the universe. We don't know. The bottom line is, it really is complicated. So we cannot control every single circumstance. At least 99.9999, etc. % of us cannot do that. Maybe there is the odd person, 1 in a trillion, who can do that. I don't know. But by and large, we can't. And what she's saying here is that sometimes things just seem to come out of the blue and happen. Oh, how did that happen? And when somebody says to you, well, if you were being spiritually conscious, that would never have happened to you. No, that's not the case. As I said, we can't control everything. It's just too complicated. But what we do have control over is how we respond to those situations and get back on track again. So when something comes out of the blue and rocks the boat, upsets us, whatever, then what we have control over is our response to that. And that's when we do our spiritual work and we're on that strong foundation, we can respond. So it's just the way it is. I mean, for instance, 3 days this week, the internet went down completely. I didn't attract that. There's nothing I can do about that. At least not that I can think of. But what I can do is I can respond to it. And in a practical way, what do? I turn things over to our cellular service, which was still working, and we can get internet through the cellular service, even though the actual internet physical connection had gone down. So that's just a simple example. And like when my wife fell, she didn't attract slipping on that food at that event that she was attending that somebody dropped on the floor and didn't pick up. Just something that came up out of the blue. Did she attract it? I don't know, but probably not. It's, as I said, it's way too complicated. But what we could control was our response to it, and now she's on her way to recovery. Not 100%, but she's there. But by having a positive attitude, I'm sure that her recovery is happening a lot faster, and the positive attitudes of our friends. That's a simple example of what we're talking about. So, with that, I'm going to say the affirmation, I'm the place where God stands forth in the world as me. Every day we've had this. I know that mental attention and self love must always be in the forefront of my mind. I know that mental attention and self love must always be at the forefront of my mind. In other words, we are affirming that we don't beat ourselves up when these things happen. I keep my spiritual circuit sharp and clear. I keep my spiritual circuit sharp and clear. I'm as aware of things to the best of my ability. And when things don't happen the way I want them to, I know exactly how to respond. So, pretty short reading. Tomorrow will be our service at 11 o'clock. It'll be on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page, because I know some of this is going on to my personal page and others. Reverend Lisa will be back on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page at about 9:15 tomorrow morning. I'll be back around about 5 tomorrow evening, and until next time. Really appreciate you all watching. Do give us a like, but please share these messages if you find them meaningful. Please repost them. Until next time, namaste.